Hello, and welcome to RP Tales. JRR here, and we're going over a tabletop tale way back when I first joined the military. Now, this tale is pretty simple, and it's going to seem stretched out because it's. Let me just get into it, and you'll get why I'm kind of concerned about this. So I rolled myself up a nice little thief. Ended up joining a party. Now, let me say this. On record, I suck at rolling dice. When you picture the stereotypical one for fumble, that's me. I'm pretty much the reason why they created the fumble table. With that being said, I made sure I had skills appropriately for a rogue, or a thief, or whatever it was called. I'm pretty sure it was a thief at the time. Had juggling, had dexterity, had all that acrobatic stuff. Had the skills, I just can't roll for shit. All you need is to roll anything over a 2. I roll a 1. That kind of crap. Anyway, ended up joining a party. And of course, people are like, you take anything of ours and we will kick your ass, thief. And I'm just like, yeah, because, stealing from the people I'm with who are supposed to be my meat shields, yeah, that's a good idea. I want to take their shields so they can't block anything. So they die and I get ran over immediately. That's A+ logic thinking. Yay! Whatever. Nevertheless, we get going. And it was like a female barbarian, some sort of ranger, myself as a thief, a mage, and there was a couple other guys. I say it that way because I think it's like another fighter and another mage or something. But no, it wasn't even another mage. It was like there was a barbarian, a fighter, a ranger, myself as a thief, and then it was like a cleric or something. It was a healer. So we go out there, and DM's like, okay, you're going this way. And a couple of counters, we just get out of here. I'm here assassinating people for no damn reason. Got barbarian in front, got the warrior off to the side, and I'm right behind the dude just stabbing them. They kind of die. Like a big circle jerk of punching one guy in the face. Anyway, the whole point of the story was we get down there and we get to a cold zone, an area that's like freezing. So people had to bundle up and warm up, and well, except for the barbarian female who happened to have a ring that kept her thinking every day was summer. Her body temperature and everything adjusted to it being summer to her, which explained the bikini male. Nevertheless, we go to sleep. Someone was watching guard. I think it was a cleric who was watching guard. And then we get attacked during a snowstorm by 3 snow wraiths. Now, keep in mind, the characters don't know right off the bat they're snow wraiths. But, logically speaking, you're in a cold area. The place is cold. I'd almost understand the logic fail from the barbarian with the ring that every day is summer to her. I would have understood it from her. But, this is where things go out of control. With snow falling and swirling around like a near blizzard, and the snow wraiths attack. We're gonna get you. And the mage's like, I got a spell for this. I got a spell for this. Keep them off me while I channel a spell. I'm thinking, alright, I know what the mage is thinking. Cold area, cold beings. He's going to launch a fireball at it and wipe them out, and we'll be good. Cool. This is my fault for thinking. For some of y'all who know what foreshadowing is, that was pretty much it. So we're fighting. Bop, bop, bop. The fight's going not favorably, but we're still winning. And I'm just shanking away, not really hitting anything because they're fucking raids. But I'm just shaking. I don't care. I'll hit you eventually. And all of a sudden the mage says, "It's ready! Everyone move!" So everyone's like tumbling out the way and shit. And the guy goes, "Icy touch!" And he casts Icy touch, and me and the DM look at each other like this. I mean, literally, I stopped. I grabbed my book. I'm just grabbing an example. I'm just grabbing something that's on the table. But I literally grabbed the book and was like, huh. I kind of glanced at the mage. It's just that reaction. That's all I had was grab a book, look at it, look at the spell. Like, was there a reason for the spell? And I looked at it and I closed the book and I dropped it and I just stared at it like, huh. All right. There's 3 reasons why a demon will ask you any kind of question. 1, he honestly didn't hear you and is asking for clarification. 2, he doesn't believe what he just heard, knows it's monumentally and fundamentally a bad idea what you just did, and is trying to give you a saving grace. Or 3, see, I told you it was going to come up. Or 3rd is he's trying to help you in as polite a manner as possible without saying you're an idiot. Needless to say, with those 3 reasons in mind, the DM actually sat there and went, I'm sorry, what was that? Now, that's usually like the DM kind of being like, you screwed up, you might want to try to fix this like now. Because he did take the time to cast, so what does this guy do? Now, again, that was like the signal. That was the signal, okay? That was like the big bat signal in the sky where even Bruce Wayne was like, oh shit, Commissioner Gordon needs me. Yeah, that was the big time signal. Everybody got the signal. Everyone knew something was wrong. Even the person playing the barbarian was like, wait, I see. You do realize this is like a near blizzard? And Mage's like, yeah, I know. And that's like a wraith that's really cold. And he shot you with like ice ball or some shit. And he shot you with it. And the guy's like, yeah, I know. Now, the person behind the barbarian was obviously very smart, but the barbarian itself was like, nah, me bash. But the comedic thing was, even with this, like, 2 warnings, the DM warning and the player warning, is like, dude, you don't want to, He's like, no, it's Icy Touch. And he starts reading everything out about Icy Touch, and I'm just sitting there like, so the DM's like, tried, guys. You cast your spell of Icy Touch, and it smashes into a snow wraith, and the wraith appears renewed because he essentially healed it. Now, the only thing my thief could say, and it was the only thing I was able to say, was, what the fuck did you do that for? And people were like, dude, you keep tone it down. I'm like, tone it down. Tone it down. Tone it down. Tone it down. I can't even hit these motherfuckers. They are slowly but surely getting the advantage, and he just healed them, and you're telling me to tone it down. Fuck this. Stealth. Sneaking, I'm out. I'm leaving the combat. I do not want to be in this combat anymore. Fuck it. He's like, are you leaving the group? I'm like, no, I'm getting out of the combat. I'm getting out of here. I do not want to be seen by the wraiths. I don't care to be seen by the wraiths. I am, no. Out. OWT, out. And that's not how you spell out, but so he's like, well, go ahead and roll for your disappearing act. I roll. I actually get to do a good roll, so I get the fuck out of there. And I get some distance. I'm like, no, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Y'all can die. Y'all want to defend this clue dart of a mage? No, not my job. Not my job. Not my job. Chaotic neutral. Not my job. Oh, I'm sorry, not chaotic neutral. It's like, what was it? It was chaotic. It was like dark chaotic. It wasn't neutral. It was something else. It was pretty much a thief that's self-serving. But I didn't want to die, so self-preservation. So I get out there. I get some distance, and I watch the fight as it goes on. Because, after they die, I can just loot the shit and go home. Thief logic. Well, the mage's like, shit. Okay, guys. Sorry, my bad. Just guard him. I got a spell for this. And no problem. They go back in the fight. Pop, 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 pop. It's getting monumentally worse. And he casts, I kid you not, Icy Touch a second time. The sad thing was, the entire group just looked at him like, we just went over this. 3 rounds ago, we just went over this. Nevertheless, he heals another one. So I'm like, okay, you know what? If I stay back here, they are going to get wiped. I'm going to get a lot of shit. But everyone's going to be pissed off. So I get close to one of the wraiths, roll and actually crit, and I kill it. I killed one that just got healed. And I'm like, yeah. So of course I was kind of surprised. Oh, the thief came back. Why did the thief come back? It's like, I don't think you need to worry about that. We still got 2 more of these guys to get rid of. Well, we end up killing them. No thanks to Mage. But everyone got experience and yada yada yada. And I took my character and I had him walk over to the Mage and I went, dude, bro, buddy, brosif. I'm telling you out of character exactly what's about to happen so you don't get shocked. So there's no shock. My character's about to come over there and punch you in the face. Really hard for what you're going to think of no reason, but when you hear the speech before, you're going to see why you're going to get punched in the face. And I'm going to pretty much agree that there's going to be no saving throw. I don't think anyone here is going to argue when my thief does this, so brace. He's like, it doesn't sound right. I'm like, just wait. You'll hear a speech before I do it. So after everyone starts recovering, the cleric's like healing people and all that, my thief gets up from his area, dusts himself off, walks by the barbarian and says something like, I could have left y'all to die. I wanted to. But I personally feel there's a lot more, I feel it's a lot more beneficial to me if all of you live. Because my thief firmly believed that where we were going was greater treasure and whatnot, and I need meat shields. I'm just saying. But as I pass her, start walking toward the mage, and I'm like, hey, buddy, we have to have a talk about your selection of spells. And the guy's like, he's like, well, I'm like, player-wise, I know you're a little nervous. I'm not going to be able to kill your character. If anything, it'll be subdual damage. But relax and just play your character accordingly. He's like, all right, I got it. So I walk up to him, and my thief's like, my thief, Blackguard, and I know, nice basic name, right? Blackguard. Blackguard, what does that mean? Rogue. So your thief is named Rogue, pretty much. But he walks up and he's like, hey, buddy, when we are in a cold environment, and there are things that spawn from the mists of the cold, what makes you think throwing ice at something that's cold would help? And since I said it that way, it lit on in the back of his mind. Something just went. He's like, oh. And you can see like the realization suddenly flooded his face. Apparently when he read Icy Touch, he didn't read the basic element of Icy Touch. He just read what it does. And he was hoping that's what would be used against the enemy. Yes, let's go to a pool of water and dump Dasani water into it. Because, you know, water damages itself. But the whole point is, he thought Icy Touch was going to do something different, even though the main element of it was the element of the enemy. I mean, literally. So he's like, his mage has sat there and he's like, I wasn't thinking about the element. 19. Knocked him clean out. Barbarian grabbed him by the ankle and we carried on. Now I told y'all that story to tell y'all this one that's attached to the same group. We go a little bit further, and apparently we're like in a volcano or a hot fucking area. Hot area. All that stuff we just bought to stay warm in the cold area, fuck it, into the lava it goes. We're going. And I think it was like 3 fire elementals, because 4 or 5 snow rays wasn't enough the first time. And 3. I think it was 3, because it was a 2-to-1 ratio. It was 3 fire elementals that came up. Whoa, you've passed so and such, and we're gonna char your flesh, we're gonna char the flesh, clean off your bones, and use your bones as kindling for our Lord, or something like that. And I was like, well, that's not very friendly at all. And I was about to roll for sneaking, and I was like, wait, they're fire. And Diab's like, wait, you're not gonna roll for your stealth? What shadows? What fucking shadows? And Diab was laughing about it because he understood. It was like, yeah, you go into the shadows of what? Light? Yeah, get 3 mobile freaking flashlights running around, and you're gonna go into the shadows that there are none of. Yeah, by the time you get into the shadows, you're like 5 miles away. Nevertheless, here we are with a bunch of magma off of one side, feeding heat over. The fire elementals are all over the place, blocking our way through. Now, I'm thinking, maybe he just has Icy Touch. Maybe that's why he cast it. Maybe he has no other spell. Maybe I overreacted and punched him in the face prematurely, even though he's after level 5. Maybe he just didn't think about it. Maybe he forgot. I don't know. Maybe that's the only spell he knows. So, with that said, I think the DM was kind of working with us. He's like, okay, the guy's going to most likely cast Icy Touch. Fire, Icy Touch. Better plan. Works a little bit better. He's trying to help out the mage, I think. So the mage is like, I got a spell, just stall him. Wham! I'm halfway across the room. That whole stabbing plan did not work for me. And of course, everyone else is fighting. I'm sitting there like, oh. Fun times for me ahead. Let's just do this. So I get in there and I'm helping. I'm trying to flank with them. And we're all moving all over the place and look like a freaking ballerina. And we're just spinning around trying to hit each other. And inevitably we got to flanking and stabbed him once. And yay! And then I got backhanded by his buddy. Nevertheless, we're going around. And 3 rounds later, I was like, I'm ready. Everyone scatters. We tumble. We're like, okay, he's going to Icy Touch these motherfuckers. Slow him down. We could just wail on fireball. And we're going to... I went out of character. I was like, out of character. What? And the guy's like, fireball. Fire ball. Fire elemental. You cast fire ball. Walk with me on this one and tell me your line of thought. The guy's like, okay. I'm like, okay. Fire ball. That's what you cast, right? Fire ball. Guy's like, yeah. The guy's like, yeah, fireball. Fireball. And you cast that at a fire elemental. He's like, yeah. You cast a fireball at a fire elemental. I can't even. I can't even. The pound sign. What? Pound sign the fuck? What? He's like, well, it causes exhaustion, and he's going off a list of things that it causes, and I'm like, whose turn is it, DM? And he's like, well, going to combat round. What about my fireball? Combat round, it's your turn, but let me explain what happened with the fireball. It's like, fine. And we were beating on the third elemental. We dropped one. Second one was beat down pretty bad, and we're trying to finish off his buddy. And it said, well, how he worded it? The fallen elemental, which was clinging to life, threw itself desperately in the way of the fireball because it was on the ground. Like here's the mage. The cluster was here, and we kept being moved back because the buddy of the fire elemental was like right here, like halfway at the halfway point. So he threw the fireball. That fire elemental saw it, thinking it was something else, and jumped in a way to save his friend, save the other two elementals, so they can wipe us out. That was the whole plan, apparently. So he jumped in a way, got hit. He was pretty much trying to debunk whatever spell was going to be cast. And even the DM said, he's like, I had the guy lay there because I figured you're going to use Icy Touch. The elemental was going to notice notice that there's a projectile coming from the mage, and he was going to throw himself in the way and finish himself off with that because everyone moved too far away to do the coup de grace. It wasn't helpless. It was just like crouched over, going, I can't fight anymore. I'm hurt. Because he's supposed to be apparently that elemental was an NPC, not an NPC, an informational source. So the DM was trying to make sure it stayed alive. Unless, of course, something killed him. But no! Fireball! It jumped away. I hit the fireball. The fire elemental that was wounded is now renewed, and it rejoins the fight. It's your go, Thief. And I was like, there's no I'm going to be able to hide. Fuck it. And I'm looking through my skills, and I looked at the game. I'm like, I'm using this one. Fuck it. We're done here. I'm chucking one of my good daggers. I'm chucking it. I'm hurling it. Mach 7. I don't care. I'm chucking it. You're throwing a weapon now? I'm like, yes, I am throwing a I'm chucking a dagger. I'm using my throw skill. I'm chucking it. It's like, okay, throw. Yada yada yada. Who's your target? I'm like, who do you think my target is? Who do you think my target... With my character and his alignment, who do you think my target is? Out of all the fights we've had, my logical thinking, this is my character. I'm gonna let the whole table know, and we're gonna figure out exactly where I'm going to throw this dagger. And you can see it on his face, like, oh shit, I know where it's going. Like he knows where it's going. And let me give you a quick rundown of how my rogue was fighting, just in all other situations. When there is a healer or someone healing the enemy, he goes for that person. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. He will vanish in the middle of a battle royale and go after that healing person and kill them. That's his whole thing. He kills healers. That's what he wants to do. Besides take shit and sell shit and make money. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the power, then you get the bitches, some shit like that. But some order. But he always goes after healers. So logically speaking, with that said, where do you think I'm throwing this dagger? And I rolled. I didn't even say who I said. I just, where do you think I'm throwing this dagger? Roll. For once in my life, I got a natural 20. And I sat there and I glanced at it and looked back and went, healing problem solved. And everyone at the table, well, the smart people got it quick. They're like, oh, fuck. So the DM explained it to the mage, because apparently the mage was book smart. The player was book smart, but common sense was just not there. So I had to take care of the problem. And the DM kind of went, as you watch the fight, after you've renewed the fire elemental, you notice that the thief jumps between two of them and hurls one of his, quote, favorite daggers. You have a saving throw. I'm going to give you the chance. Even with that natural 20, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you a saving throw. You need to get a 20. You need to get a critical saving throw. Because I'm giving you this chance. I'm going to be nice. I'm giving you the chance. You notice that the thief has jumped between two of the fire elementals, cock back, and hurl one of his slaying daggers at you. Now, you don't know if there's something behind you. You're not certain. You just know that there's a dagger coming at you really fast. And I'm being a nice DM. I'm giving you a saving throw. But because he rolled a 20, you need a 20. So the guy rolls, and I think he rolls a 1 or a 2 or something. It's something monumentally low. He pretty much countered my roll with the complete opposite. No, I think another thing about it was probably a 1 because he screwed it up. So the DM's like, ooh. Okay, you notice that the thief jumped between them, but you didn't notice why his arm cocked back. The thief's arm moved so fast when cocking back and going forward that you did not see the dagger. And as the dagger spun, you caught a glimpse of it from the fire, the light from the fire, as it impaled your skull and dropped you to the earth. You are dead. The guy's like, what? And then, of course, the player looked at me like, why did you fucking do that? I was like, I kill the healer. 2 fights now, you've proven to me that you're the healing entity of the enemy. I can't have you standing around and possibly kill me. You're eating a dagger. So we get through the fight. And of course the barbarian's pissed because apparently I was her boyfriend or something. He's like, I will crush you. I'm like, lady, he has been healing people left and right. I am not in the mood for this shit. If you really want to fight, fine. But if you want to use your brain for like 30 seconds and realize that we were going to die if he kept casting spells, I would rather kill one motherfucker and the 3 elementals as opposed to these 3 elementals killing all of us. The fighter's like, as the player, I want to say that was a dick move. As a player. But, as my fighter, sorry, it makes sense. He was like, I can't help him. I'm not getting into this. I have to agree with the thief on this one. I'm sorry. As the fighter, I'm agreeing with the thief. As the player, I think that's a dick move, but, yeah, what you gonna do? So, of course, Barbarian loses her shit. I'm gonna fucking kill you. And you hear, like, the ranger suddenly roll. And then when the DM asks, he's like, oh no, I'm rolling initiative. I'm agreeing with the thief. I'm sick of fighting things longer than need be. My character is agreeing with a thief, and I think his archer or his ranger was the chaotic neutral. I was like, I was way down there. I mean, if he was a lawful thief, why would he be a thief if he was lawful? But you see my point. That's why he was chaotic. Anyway, it was he was agreeing with me, and so he's like, if she makes a move, I'm shooting her. And that's why I'm running initiative. And of course, as a player, she was getting upset. It's like, well, we're not going to break up the group over something like this. And I'm like, who's breaking up the group? I just told you, the thief just told you exactly why he did that. He gave you the exact reason. So she initially rolled for initiative. She rolled for initiative after a moment. So I had to roll mine, and I beat her out. And I was like, I don't want to fight you. I even made sure I was out of range for the attack of opportunity in the first place. I was like, I don't want to fight you. But if you move towards me, we're stuck. We're going to be engaged in combat, and one of us is going to go down. And I assure you, it will not be me. And I told DM that I pretty much had the blind powder in my hand. I pretty much sleight of hand, rolled, made it, and I had the blind powder in the hand. It's literally, if you come at me, I'm going to defend myself. So she rolls for intimidation, and it's a weirdly low roll for her. And DM's like, well, make your motion. She's like, and she just yells, like, the bestial yell. And as she's yelling, she has her weapons up. And the ranger goes, aim shot, the sword. And he rolls and he gets it. So he shoots the sword as she's yelling. And it hits the sword, and she drops it. Because she was so occupied yelling that she drops the sword like, huh. Needless to say, that de-escalated her immediately. That calmed her right back down. And I was like, oh, okay. Huh. So she picks up a body, we carry on. We get to a place, we find a way to get him revived. Apparently, the dagger blow to the skull is not as detrimental as you believed it to be. It only pierced yada yada yada, and the guy had to take a charisma hit and an intelligence hit. I was like, to be dead honest, damn, I would hit him again with intelligence. I'd drop it even further. Why did you try to hit my character? I'm like, I'm not hating your character. You saw fire elementals and you cast fireball, snow rays, and you cast icy touch. I'm dropping your intelligence. If I was a DM, I'd drop your intelligence accordingly. You cast 3 spells at the wrong people, 3 points down. 1 for each stupidity act. The fire was just in there like... And of course, the mage is getting all pissed off and huffy. Well, I don't want to be in a group if everyone thinks I'm stupid. It's like, I don't think you're stupid. I think you're not reading. I don't think you're stupid. I think you're not reading. Don't read the effects of the spell. Read the spell, read the element, look at the situation, and then read the effects to see if it's actually worth it. But I found that amusing because even to this day, it sticks in my mind as a big fight because we were, like, both those times we've had a fight ended early. Because things were going well, the barbarian was critting, the fighter was critting. We could have ended the fight, and then, at the pivotal moment, ew. I have been renewed, and I will crush you. So before we left, the guy was getting all huffy with me, and I was like, okay, look, let me break it down like this. Let's say you have, let me break it down because I couldn't even think of anything more appropriate. I was going to use a fire elemental and a fireball example, but let me break it down like this. Let's say you're a vampire hunter and you're going after Dracula. Okay? Let's just say, just for the sake of argument, okay? He's like, okay. And you get to Dracula and you know a spell. It's like your fallback, wipe out anything living spell. Yeah, anything living. Right. But Dracula's not living. How come you can catch that, but you can't catch the fact that you threw a fireball at a fire elemental? Whatever. Back on point. So you go to Dracula, and you know a spell that works on anything that's living. Per se. Because it worked against, like, Skeletal Overlord Oogie Boo. You used it on him, and it killed him. Re-killed him. Killed him further than he was already dead, but he stopped advancing on you. He was no longer a threat. He ceased to be. He shuffled off the moral coil. He's with the cry invisible. Again. The fact is, you know the spell. And I'm going to read out what the spell says, and you tell me what's wrong with using this spell against Dracula, okay? The guy's like, okay. I'm like, okay. By the blood of my foe, I invoke the power of Count Dracula to drain the life from my enemy. What is wrong with that spell being used on Count Dracula? The guy's thinking about it for a minute and goes, well, the fact that you said his name in the spell, you're invoking Count Dracula to slay Count Dracula. It's like, now apply that to this. Fire elementals who pretty much birth fireball all the time. They hiccup and the fireballs go flying. And you threw a fireball at it. You threw fire at fire. You threw fire at fire to put out fire. And he's like, ooh. Oh. It's like finally starting to sink in. Oh, well shit, if I knew that, if I would have thought about that, I see why he did that. I was like, I couldn't be any clearer. And like I said, I thought fire elemental was pretty self-explanatory. Living flame walking around trying to murder you, and you're going to throw a fireball at it. Yep, good plan. All for it. Oh my lord. But yeah, sorry this one went a little longer. It's just the fact that I couldn't think of any way to get across to the mage not to play the matching game. Stop matching. This is more like Pokemon, not pick and match. This isn't tic-tac-toe. You can't get like 3 fires in a row and magically slay everything. No, this is supposed to be a fight. A fight. You're like not fighting. You're healing. That's like casting Undeath on skeletons. That's like saying, Count Dracula, I summon your power. I invoke your power. The power of Dracula to slay Dracula. And Dracula's like, no. No? Why would? No. No. What? I'm going to slap myself silly? No. Get out of here. I kind of find that funny because when I started playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night, one of the items you get is Power of Sire. And I half wanted to just hold on to that and, well, still have it in inventory, but I half wanted to use that on Dracula, but my logical brain goes, that's stupid. The Power of Sire. And it's a picture of Dracula. I'm going to use Dracula's power against Dracula to slay Dracula for Dracula and Dracula. It is always a sentence of Dracula. So, lesson to the young mages. It's not a matching game. It's really not. If there's a fire elemental and he's hurling fireballs randomly, don't throw a fireball back at him. Throw something bigger or opposing his elemental, but don't throw fire back at him. It's a fire elemental. Shoot it with fire. I don't think he's gonna care. I'm no expert, but I don't think he's gonna give a shit about your flamethrower there, buddy. Good night, everybody.